have the congregation please rise?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
The piper was Ian McGinnis. He led the processional. The tune is called Nicholson of Scorybreck. It was written by the late Pipe Major Malcolm Nicholson, CM, whose daughter Kathleen Nicholson Graham founded the Nicholson Pipes and Drums, the official band of the worldwide Nicholson McNichol clan. I'd like to welcome everyone here this afternoon to celebrate the life of Wilfred Nicholson. Wilfred was my brother-in-law, but in many ways I saw him as a slightly older brother. He was a wonderful guy. Today's service is sort of a combination of in-person video link with a touch of Gaelic. So it's going to be a little different, but very nice. My name is Clinton Morrison, aka Clint. I'm blessed to have Carol as my twin sister and her only brother. So it's a pleasure to be asked to perform this service today. To say that Wilfred was a wonderful guy, it's sure an understatement. Because any of you who knew Wilfred well, which I presume is everyone, you know what I mean when I say he was a wonderful guy. There's so many traits that stand out in my memory. Wilfred was funny at times, very serious at others. He was always kind and generous, always. And the thing I remember about him too is when we would come down to visit from up west, Wilfred was always there to greet us with open arms, and he was always there to man the barbecue and help cook supper. And he was always there to wave goodbye and wish us a safe journey home. I've known, I guess, Wilfred now for, it was about 52 years, perhaps, or 51 since I first met him. I know that he's going to be missed. I'd like to express my personal condolences again to my sister Carol and to my niece Melanie, my nephew Ashley, Ashley's wife Angela, and their children Alexander and Raylynn. I know that we all miss Wilfred, and we will for quite some time. Now I'm going to ask Lewis McKinnon next to render Amazing Grace, which was written by John Newton.
Everyone. Just before I start, I'd just like to say that I had the very good fortune of learning Gaelic with Wilfred a number of years ago. I used to come here onto the island to play some music, and on Saturdays, a group would get together. I would be a facilitator in the language learning, and I distinctly recall his laugh, and it's such a gift to the group. We laughed a lot in those days, and it's just wonderful to be here. It's a great honor. I thank you, Carol. Carol, we haven't actually met. Are you wonderful? Where? Carol, over here. Nice to meet you. I'm just going to do Amazing Grace, and I'm going to do one verse in Gaelic, and then I think the words are in the program.
Next, we have a Bible reading from Romans chapter 12, verses 15 to 18. This is read by Wilfred's friend and Gaelic teacher, Dr. Ian McPherson, who's a lecturer at the University of the Highlands and Islands, the Isle of Skye. And this will be an on-screen video.
Good day. I'm Ian Scott McPherson, and Wilfred Nicholson was a friend of mine and a student of mine. I first met him in 1997 or 1998 when I gave my first summer session of Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic classes at the University of Prince Edward. And my first memory of him are his eyes, is as my daughter referred to him when I told her about him passed away. She said in Gaelic, his beautiful warm eyes. She remembered him coming up to us after talking to McPhail instead a couple of years ago. Anyway, Wilfred would come with Melanie every summer. He would keep coming back, and that in itself was a testimony to his endurance, his commitment to his ancestral language, his family language of PDI, like so many of us. He knew members of my extended family, like dear Auntie Mark, Nicole, Margaret Chabelle, and Margaret Nicole, who also died this year. And every summer, I just wanted to say before I give the reading, there was a bet my Aunt Cam Thelma Davy going to go to have with my grandmother, Grace McKinnon, also from Glasgow, the lad Charlotte. And every summer they would bet about whether I would have enough students to run the UPEI summer extension Gaelic program, because they just did I would have enough. And every summer the bet was that if I had enough numbers, my Aunt Tam would cook me a boiled dinner. If I didn't have enough numbers, then I would clean the deck. I never cleaned the deck. And every summer I would say, give her the numbers, and I would read Wilfred's name and Melanie, and Wilfred, of course, Wilfred's coming. He's a stalwart, she would say. And he was a stalwart person. So I'll be reading today from Romans 12, 15 to 18. First in Scottish Gaelic. As I said, the language of his Nicholson family, in Skye, and in PEI, and then in English. Lídjið en astur all in the Róðuna, and that I cut it to Tia. Jenugárjatas Manjuruasan, Harigárjatas, Agus Kri, Manjuruasan, Harikari. Bíu a lún rún the Kina, the bigger kin, Nikinárde, of Kurshtain and Co-Ineva Ruasin, Haisha, na Bíu na Adalé. Na Eirgad all Kashan Oir, the Municipie, Ulikib Nikin Kiedal, and Diedish, na Nulugunia. Magurd is a bee, it's a hand commascrive, Bíu and she, Vishna Fulip. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and be sad with those who sorrow. Treat everyone with equal kindness. Never be condescending, but make real friends with the poor. Do not allow yourself to become self-satisfied. Never repay evil with evil, but let everyone see that you are interested only in the highest ideals. Do all you can to live at peace with everyone. Good day. I'm Ian Scott McPherson, and Wilfred Nicholson was a friend of mine and a student of mine. I first met him, it must have been 1997.
Okay. Lewis is going to perform a song for us next. Maybe before he does, I'll read a little bit of preamble to the song itself. The song is, let's see, I have to excuse my Gaelic, I'm going to bypass that. The last person in my family that I know of that spoke Gaelic was my great-grandfather, and he's been dead for 105 years, so he never passed the language on to us, I guess. But anyway, in English it's called The Great Song of Scorrybrek. It was composed in the late 17th century on the occasion of the marriage of Malcolm Nicholson of Scorrybrek on the Isle of Skye to Margaret MacLeod of Raasay, an island off the east coast of Skye. Malcolm Nicholson was the son and heir of the Reverend Donald Nicholson, the chief of the Nicholsons. Margaret MacLeod was a sister of great John MacLeod, the sixth chief of the MacLeods of Raasay. It was originally a rowing song and is now sung when walking the Tweed. And now I present Lewis.
That was Clint. Thanks very much, Clint. It's a one hin come your bus, Gustava death out of me, cautious, oh, Harinyo, oh, Harinyo, eh, the oh, eh, Harinyo, eh, oh, Gustava death out of me, cautious, good power, farshing, one eye, oh, Harinyo.
Hey,
Thank you again, Louis. Very fine job. Next in our service will be the eulogy. The eulogy is being presented by video on screen by the Reverend Dr. Ron Vincent, who's a retired United Church minister and a good friend and fishing buddy of Wilfred's. So we'll have the eulogy now.
I'm honored to take part in Wilfred's memorial service today. In the course of life, one has many acquaintances, and when you're very, very lucky indeed, you have a few true friends. And for me, Wilfred was one of those friends. Again, I offer my condolences to Carol, Melanie, Ashley and his family, and also to Dawn, the last remaining member of the Four Sons. It's difficult to know what to say on an occasion such as this. You all know Wilfred is known for you, so there's no need for me to tell you what he's done and what he's done. The first impulse, though, as I do this, is to give thanks for him. It's a loss of a good friend. It's a loss of a husband, father, grandfather, and brother, and all the other relationships. So we give thanks. And it may sound a bit trite, but too seldom do we stop to give thanks for life's blessings and for life's people, not life's friends. The Bible reading from Romans suits us very, very well on this occasion. Over the many centuries, the ages since the early founders of the church put together what they put together. Part of our tradition is to seek words of comfort when we are terribly overrun with sorrow, when wisdom seems in short supply, and when strength is much needed. Many questions surface. Answers don't come easily, if at all. The words from Paul's letter to the Romans, for me, fill the bill for this occasion. These ancient words can prod us to ask important questions of ourselves, who continue to live in our days. These words may well help in deciding what the ingredients are for a good and a decent life, of what constitutes a life well spent, as we mourn and remember a life well lived. When Wilfred and I have rejoiced many times, we've shared belly laughs and humor. We've probably spent much more time than we should have talking about fishing flies, trying to convince each other that we had the perfect fly for the day. What we couldn't hear, you may well imagine, while this was all going on in the boat, was the imagined laughter of the trout down below in Duke's Pond. They certainly took us seriously. During my years in ministry, a long while ago in Montague, I spent time with the Nicholson family as they mourned the death of the two brothers. It was a hard time for everyone. I admired in recent years Wilfred's pursuit of the Nicholson family history. He studied their language, Gaelic, and he and Carol traveled to Scotland, the Isle of Skye. He told me how great it was to see the land of his ancestors, maybe even to imagine their great adventure, to gain a renewed appreciation of their life-changing decision to leave home, to leave everything behind, and travel to this new land of Prince Edward. He was fascinated and respectful of their determination and resilience, that enable them to make such a life-changing move. So now, in the wake of his journey that ended earlier this summer, we gather to celebrate, to give thanks, and to take stock of where we are in our own life's journey. We know that one generation certainly affects the next. Principles and important rules of thumb, as we say, echo from past generations. And if we are courageous, and if we're wise enough to listen to the echoes, we make changes where we must. We forgive where we must. We alter our thinking if we must. And we must truly wish one another well on our respective journeys. And so now, this time, together on this day, you and I too celebrate a life that was influenced by such wisdom. I appreciated Wilfred's kind demeanor, his wisdom and generosity, and his care for those around him, members of the community, and employees of former years. He was a loving husband, father, grandfather, and a true friend. So listen to the verses of Scripture again that were read. Maybe you'll hear them a little differently. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. Do not repay evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Thanks be to God. And may the peace of Christ that's beyond our understanding, really, and a phrase we beat around pretty casually, may that peace be yours now and in the days ahead. I would invite you to your practice to join with me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever.
We're going to have another song by Lewis. It's called It's Unlikely I Will Ever Climb Again. And just to give a little bit of background to the song, it was written by skyman Norman Nicholson, who was a brother of the last Nicholson chief to live on the clan lands in Skye. As a renowned hunter and fisherman, he laments being deprived of his hunting liberties on Skye by a prohibition imposed by Lord MacDonald, who was a major landholder in Skye. In a letter from his mother's brother, an Edinburgh lawyer, Norman is warned that Peter, Lord MacDonald's estate overseer, will be watching him. Norman and his brothers left for New Brunswick around 1825. And from there, they sailed to Australia. After the death of his father and the untimely deaths of his two older brothers, Norman became the 17th chief of the Nicholson clan. He drowned in Tasmania in 1841. And now we'll have Lewis present the song.
Thanks very much, Lynn. And you read well about Wilfred. Was Wilfred a bit of a rebel? Because this is a rebel song. That's why I like singing it, to be truthful and transparent. First gave the song that I sang at the service I wasn't familiar with until Carol reached out to me and asked me if it was a performance of had to do some work on that one. But this one I've been singing for a long, long time, and I like it because it's got some defiance, and we have to be defiant when we're trying to maintain our identity, and particularly in the case of Wilfred, this Gaelic identity, and he continued to stay connected to that throughout his life, and have something that was meant a great deal to me.
Thank you, Lewis. For those of you whose Gaelic might be a little rusty like mine, the English version is in the program. Yeah, the Gaelic is a very melodious language. Next, we'll have a poem read by friend and fellow Gaelic scholar, Woody Beaton. The poem is one by Robert Burns called Epitaph on My Own Friend.
Tosh me, they talk in the guard to Wilfred. I'll start off with a word or two for Wilfred. Ami a gra, the gra is odom, Yannick of Montague. With love and respect, I say, blessing to you, Wilfred. Epitaph of my old friend, Robert Burns. An honest man here lies at rest, as the air God with his image blessed. The friend of man, the friend of truth, the friend of age, and guide of youth. Few hearts like his with virtue warmed, few heads with knowledge so informed. If there's another world, he lives in bliss. If there is none, he made the best of this.
Thank you, Woody. I think before we proceed to the recessional, which will be led by our piper again, Ian, I want to just remind everyone that you are all invited to a reception at the Hillcrest United Church basement immediately following the service here, for those of you that would like to do that. And I want to thank you all for coming today. And with that, I'll ask Ian to proceed.
Folks, I'm going to let you go one pew at a time, and I'm going to let you go out the chapel door. Thank you. It's okay, Morgan. You're good. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you. George doing these days. Good. Just take your time. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you, folks. Good to see you again, David.
You will.